Hey, welcome to Mad Dog's After Show. You are along for the ride with the Mad Dog and Cole, the maximum downforce Farrell.
Hey, anyone can start a podcast, but nobody should start a podcast.
Except us.
Saturated market.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm.
Man, oh man. Love to hear those inspiring words from the incredible Mr. Evil Knievel, flying through the air, living in the sunlight, and enjoying life. Tell you what, dude, we have been enjoying some life, haven't we?
Absolutely. Haven't had a lot of sunshine out here, though, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I'm sorry to hear that. We had a little cloud right now, too. But man, we're so lucky to be able to do the crazy stuff that we do. Uh, you know, just like all our service people out there fighting for our freedom. We're so grateful for you. We're so thankful for you, giving us the freedom to do this crazy show. And of course, Cole's favorite, the first responders. Love you guys. You guys have saved our asses so many times. We appreciate you. And, great shout out to all of our veterans and, of course, our, you know, families of those that gave all, the MIA, KIA. Thank you so much. Deep respect. And again, an extra shout out to all of our U.S. service personnel around the world. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Got to thank our brave men and women of the military that let us even do this. And our first responders, I think they also go underappreciated. I live right next to a fire department, which my wife loves, but here in Southern California, like a clock, you can set it. The rain starts and the siren starts. So when we're all trying to sleep and trying to relax, those men and women are going heavy for us.
Yeah, absolutely. They're great people for sure. And speaking of great people, how about the great crew over at Kicker Performance Audio? Man, all your 12-volt needs, premium marine needs, off road needs, motorcycle needs, and we're going to touch on that in a bit. But you can find them online, kicker.com, on Instagram, at Kicker Audio, on Facebook, Kicker, every other Tuesday night live at 7:30 Central, on their YouTube channel and their Facebook at Kicker Unmasked Live TV show. Great show, informative, lots of good stuff there. Of course, Bomber Eyewear. Tommy and his gang have got it dialed, man. So many different frames, over 40 frame styles. I don't even know how many lens combinations, but you can get everything from a safety glass in a clear tint to an amber to polarized dark smoke safety lens. Keeps the bugs out of your eyes on the lake, and if they fly off, they float. Find them. BomberEyewear.com or on Instagram at Bomber Eyewear. Be sure and check out their new goggles series. It's pretty bitchin'. Of course, Assault Industries, Assault UTV, and the gang over there, always creating the most premium off road accessories for your off road vehicle. Find them online, Assault Industries, that's assaultind.com, or on Instagram at Assault UTV. And of course, our man Cole and the Premix podcast, sharing his passion for all things desert racing through the lens of a camera, and available later this year to MC or announce your event. Slide into his DMs at the Premix Podcast on Instagram. That's the @ symbol. ThePremixpodcast.
Wow.
And send him a message. Get him booked now before it's too late. You got to wait till 26 for Shutter and Whirl for all your video, audio, and still photography needs from pre-production all the way through post-production, TV commercials, whatever you need. Find her on Instagram at Shutter and Whirl. And of course, if you click the link in the bio, it'll take you right to their website. Hey Geeks Marketing has us covered for all of our logo needs, business cards, designs, social media, templates, our website, all that. And she can have you covered too for all your website needs, social media needs. Yell, Hey Geeks, or find her online, heygeeks.com, or on Instagram at Hey Geeks Marketing. Woo! How was that?
That was smooth, and that was one try. So that was
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Little
Well,
behind the scenes for you there.
they don't call me one take for nothing, bro.
Wow.
Dude, leave it alone. How you been?
Where do you want to start?
Dude, I don't know. Like, I've been on the road, so
Yeah,
let's
what's on
talk
the,
about you.
what's on the tip of your tongue? All right, well, we'll start
Oh,
with me
yeah, start with you.
because I'm just a professional observer at this point. We just had the Mint 400 last weekend, and man, I learned something about myself when it comes to the Mint 400.
Oh, do
Um,
tell.
so congratulations, Adam Householder, back-to-back wins overall on Saturday.
It's a big deal.
Friends of friends, I would like to say that the one day I went testing with them in 2020 is what caused these back-to-back Mint 400 wins. Can't confirm, can't deny, but
Undoubtedly, in my mind.
but we'll call this a compliment sandwich, right? They talk about this in books where you got to say something nice, say something not so nice, say something nice. Here we go. So what I realized with the Mint 400 last week is that if you're into motorsports, and I got to make that caveat, I think off-road racing is so incredibly interesting because on the same exact day, Adam was on the last lap of a 100-mile loop and he had a 24-minute lead, which is huge, but that doesn't mean anything. He got a flat, which they fixed in 2 minutes, and that was scary. And so cut it down to 22-minute lead. Supercross was that same night. Cooper Webb had a 16-second lead, and it wasn't as interesting as the 24-minute lead of Adam Householder at the Mint 400. I don't know how to explain that to people who aren't into motorsports, but to explain that a 24-minute lead feels scarier than a 16-second lead. Anyway, so middle of the sandwich here. We love Jim Beaver, and going forward, let's make him the only commentator for the Mint 400. I will PayPal, whatever it takes, GoFundMe, because Jim is the man. Jim knows what he's talking about. Yeah,
Well,
just
he's
tough.
been there, right? I mean, he's been
He's
there.
the man. He's
Yeah.
He's the freshest of the trophy truck drivers of that whole group.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, and then to end things, I saw people on my favorite website on earth, racedesert.com, saying that they were not watching because the camera coverage was so bad. And I'm like, dude, 6-7 years ago, we didn't have live coverage in desert racing
Right.
with drones and live leaderboards and finish line shots and starting shots. So I'm like, man, I think we're getting a little soft because you used to have to look in Score Journal or something 2-3 weeks later, Cycle News next week, find results, and it's like now we're complaining about camera angles on a 100-mile course. That's the Mint
Right.
400. Thank you.
And to add to that insight, I personally have been involved with the production of the Mint 400 several times,
Yep.
and worked as in essence, part of my job, among many, was camera crew support, camera crew uh, uh, I don't know,
Facilitator.
for facilitator, yes. And those were the days when it was recorded and it came out, a month or two later
Fox
on one of the
Sports on.
sports channels. Yeah. Um, and you did have the live start. You would get the live start, and you would get the live finish on social media, if it stayed. And other than that, man, it was like all behind the scenes. The stuff that went into it then. I mean, there was at one point the first year I did it, and like I said, I wore multiple hats,
Yeah.
but I was on 4 different radios
No thanks.
for 22 hours.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are like, that the the coverage sucked because this angle or that angle or the GoPro kept cutting out. Um, dude, get a clue. Like, there's so much that goes into it. And I'm not saying they're perfect, And while we're on desert racing, I want to bring up an interesting fact. I'm sure you saw it today. Um, Fish's post about the desert amount and discombobulation between all the prominent desert race series in the U.S. And I just want to go on the record saying um, I support Fish's idea. I think there's some caveats to it that would have to be a secured thing for it to work. But to bring them all under one roof and put out, I would like to see obviously a lot more than the 5 desert races that he suggested. I would like to see 10 in the
Yeah.
U.S. But then I did read a comment on that thread um, that said, "How about you do a bunch of U.S., a bunch of score, and then have a championships brawl, if you will, to paraphrase anyways,
Interesting.
where you have, maybe the top 10 from each class on a course that hasn't been done before or something gnarly um, that really brings the best of the best out. And I think it'd be great for desert racing in the US for sure.
Yeah. I unfortunately I haven't gotten to see Fish's post yet, but he's been in a good way communicative. Cut that.
Commu-
No, there's our clip
Communicate.
for the week.
Yeah,
Communicative about his ideas. I think you got to keep Mexico and US separate unless you want to do this ultimate championship kind of thing at the end. Um, but man, it's I struggle, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this because I love the idea that if money was no issue, and that would be great in any topic in life, but if money was no issue, you could race desert any weekend of the year you wanted with whatever organization. The other side of things is like low car counts are going to kill it for everybody. And if you
absolutely.
have a race every weekend, how are people going to have a set date on their calendar? So I don't know if we need a tier system, which is our legacy best in the desert score, and then underneath have snore more um, works. So I don't know. I'd like to pick your brain on that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's tough. I would like to see the what I would call the 4 major series, you know, um, Legacy, Best in the Desert, uh, the Unlimited, and what's the other one?
Well, we got
Um,
score in the South. Um,
Score is let's take Score out of it,
okay,
because I believe Score should continue to operate in their
in
Mexico
their lane.
program,
Okay.
and I think they do a good job. They've been doing it.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Sal does a great job. They've been doing it a long time. Um, so let's say the top 4 desert series. So Best in the Desert, Legacy,
Unlimited.
Unlimited, and there's one more.
Who do you throw in there?
And
Yeah,
here's the problem with all that is there's just too many race series. I have to agree with him. Um, but if you could take those top 3 or 4 and bring them all together into one series and create 6 or 8 races that are all premier races and drop a bunch of the fluff, if you
yeah,
will, it would be a firm set on the calendar for the racers, right?
for
And,
sure.
I mean, not everybody wants to race in the Nevada desert in July, but too bad you're a racer, you know?
Right, and that goes all sorts of way. But here's my big jumping off point is if we could get all the same damn rules, that would be
Yes.
wild. Because a guy
Yeah.
builds a class 11 car and they call them score cars because you can run them in the South because they have disc brakes, this, that, but you can't run them here. So it's like you need to build a car according to a rule book, and that's not helping literally anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And, to that point, it's really interesting because I was in Daytona for the season kickoff of American Flat Track, and Mr. Scotty Dubler of multiple fames, Scotty Too Hottie, the girls call him. And, I might call him that once in a while just for fun. Generally, I call him the guy with the great smile, the good hair, and the fantastic voice. But, anyways, him, Minnie, Cam, uh, from American Flat Track, many of us were just kind of talking about ideas. And, you know, it's a very similar thing with American Flat Track. There's the AMA American Flat Track series, right? I mean, they're the premier series.
Pace you can go. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is no universalized feeder series like there
Interesting.
is, say, in motocross, where um you have all these tracks around the country, all these events around the country, but they're all running on AMA rules.
Literally districts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And there is nothing like that in American Flat Track. And we were talking about the concept of trying to get all these promoters, CTEX, Corey Texter has his own series. Um, several couple of the other riders promote their own races 2 or 3 times a year. Um, but they all operate under different rules and different classes. So it's much like the conundrum with current desert racing status in the US, where you have all these series that all have different rules. And so, in essence, you're forcing your rider or driver or team to participate, lock down into one series because their vehicle may only be legal for unlimited off road. It may only be legal for, best in the desert. It may only be legal for legacy. Um, and it may not fit into the other two. And it's the same with all these race series around the country in American Flat Track. So it's interesting how
The parallels.
the parallel in that. Yeah.
Same problem, different sports.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And ultimately everybody wants to get to that top tier, right? But how do you get there if you don't have, I won't say it's easier through motocross and uh as a general. I'm gonna generalize, and I know the off-road guys are gonna kill me, the bike guys are gonna kill me,
No, we're
but I'm
humble.
gonna generalize all the indoor racing and outdoor
Okay.
racing
Yep.
on moto tracks, on dirt bikes as motocross, just for
Perfect.
the generalization of one lump of coal, right? So at least all these series and districts around the country are operating off of one set of rule book. I don't know. I mean, it
Yeah.
just makes sense to me, but you know,
Well, and it's easy for me to say because I think I kind of got boots on the ground, but I'm like, I wouldn't be scared to roll up to Tech and Contingency to the Mint 400 or Parker Dam 500, all this stuff, because I'm like, like, here's the rules, whatever, it's off road racing. Like, it's sort of like a kind of laissez faire, like, who cares? If I can get past Bill Savage and the Tech team, I'm cool. Now, if you're telling me it's my first flat track race, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're going to go race Daytona flat track because that's the feeder series, because there is no easy feeder series.
right?
That makes flat track look so much more exclusive because it is, because
W-
you got to earn your way. You got to, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Where
Right?
off road racing, yeah, it's open, it's great, it's exciting, but when we're having limos go through beer bottle path, it's a little tough to figure out where our priorities lie.
Right? Right? And ultimately, I mean, there is that entertainment side, um,
What you need.
which you need and you have to have because ultimately that's what pays the bills, you know? And that's something American Flat Track has done a pretty good job of. And I have a feeling that this year is going to be stellar. And we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, no, and while we're on the Mint 400, I was working diligently all day. So thank you for the consistent updates. Um, there was multiple times I didn't even get to my phone to check social media and see where people were at. Um, and you kept me in the loop, man. So I am grateful for that.
Yeah, I was
ho-
just excited, to be fair.
yeah, no, it was really cool. And we had some good friends. We had some good friends and friends of the show racing, Mitch Guthrie Jr., of course, and he showed well most of the race. I don't know where he finished at the end, but
I will look
there,
that up, but I know
yeah, there was
he was in
him,
contention for a long time, and then something happened.
Dustin Jones, my good friend Ryan Piplick, um, Ronnie Anderson. I know they had a tough day. Um, Sierra Romo didn't have a great day, um, and Mia Chapman, multiple time after show veteran,
Yep.
uh, raced, and my good friend Bobby Van Beekum, soon to be on the after show, um, in one of his cars. And I believe she did the first 100 miles or so. And they finished. I know they had a tough day. They had some repairs they had to do, but congratulations to our friend Mia Chapman on the finish. And let me know when you have those results because I'm just stalling right now.
No, keep going because, well, you're a compliment sandwich. Very nice website, very nice live timing. I can't find any results. And if I can't find it on the first page of Google or DuckDuckGo or your own website, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely an issue. So, you guys got some work to do there. Martelli's, and I know them. I've worked for them. I know them well. So please, Matt, take it with a grain of salt, but get your
I
website fixed.
just need the crude PDF printout so we can read it. That's all I need.
Yeah, that's one thing that Score is great about.
Next day.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that about them so much. And they're clear, very clear to make it unofficial results. But they also certify very quickly.
Yeah.
And maybe these series, I don't know. Fish's whole thing was he needs $1 billion so he could buy out all the owners of all the series and homogenize them all into one race series.
Pros and cons. No right answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So with that, I guess, man. Oh, and Dustin Jones shout out Battle
Yeah.
Axe. I think he did okay, but
I think he
uh,
broke the front end of the car off again.
did he? Damn it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but before we go any farther,
Yeah.
and we'll come back around to this in future episodes, but uh, faithful friend, loyal listener, Tyler Ellings had their
Oh,
team
yeah.
attack the stock UTV class and came out with a P1. So hope to talk to
Congratulations.
Austin and the family moving forward. But Tyler, we know you're listening, and congrats, man, and hope you guys made it home safe and sound. So
Yeah, great job, and it's no easy task, um, especially in that stock class. I know from my Vegas to Reno experience, um, where we had a little bit of everything. So, matter of fact, I stumbled across some screen grabs from the video that Toyo Tires Japan put out,
oh, cool.
and on my phone when I was cleaning up a bunch of photos. Just, I take pictures of everything. So every event, I probably take 500 pictures and then narrow it down to, you know, 50, 60, 100, something like that. So, yeah, I totally feel that. Great job. Uh, really impressive. So, especially a Mint 400.
Yeah, imagine coming down the hill and, oh, we're gonna do the Mint 400, and oh, we won it. I know it was not that simple, but just
Right.
on
Yeah.
paper, it makes me laugh. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, D. Jones, Battle Axe Jones did it his first year in the Mint 400 in
yep,
a Can-Am. Uh, thanks to the extra horsepower added by Muzzy's Performance at the time. So that was my first sponsored Mint 400 win.
yeah.
And it surprised everyone. It was pretty amazing. So, yeah.
Speaking
Um,
of amazing, are you a Florida resident now, or what's going on?
Man, dude, holy cow, what a trip. I'll tell you. Yeah, 12 days out, 11 days in Daytona,
Wow.
basically. Cooked out real early, uh, and had jumped on the flight and boom, boom. Quick stop in wherever the hell I was, Nashville. Yeah. And, you know, all my flights were on time. I actually got into Jacksonville, Florida a little bit early and made the 2-hour drive. Got my Kia Soul, bright red Kia Soul rental. Uh, Dude, horrible to drive on the interstates.
Oh man,
Miserable.
those CVT cars. Just that alone is
Yeah,
disgusting.
it kind of felt like a CVT, but I think it said it had gears.
Okay.
Like you could put it in sport mode and it had gears, but
Oh,
maybe it was just that gutless. I don't know, but it's on, the rental cars. Of course, you're not going to get the sport model like Keeks has, that has a little, wider tire and a little better stance. Um, so the Bone Stalker, they're pretty miserable to drive on the interstate at 80 plus miles an hour. Um, Almost 90 at times, just cruising along with traffic, and I'm like, oh yeah, they don't waste any time getting north and south there in Florida, man. 70-mile-an-hour speed limit, and I'm moving with traffic at 84 and in the middle lane because the fast lane is doing like 90.
man. They say the best drag racers come from the East Coast, so
Yeah, well,
just
maybe
more
that's
proof.
it. But yeah, man, I stayed. I want to give a special shout out to the entire crew over at the Hyatt, uh, World of Hyatt, Daytona Shores. Staff was amazing. Typical kind of older coastal hotel, but the staff was amazing. Um, didn't see one staff member frown the entire 11 days I was there.
Wow.
Uh, just just awesome, and that was during bike week, and so it was crazy. Yeah, man, I mean, it's Daytona, dude, like Daytona during bike week. So I was there for the AMA Arena Cross Championships presented by Kicker season finale round 12 at the amazing Ocean Center in Daytona Beach. And then switched gears, packed up, got all my stuff moved to the American Flat Track warehouse in Daytona, and then moved on over to the Daytona short track right behind the Daytona Speedway, Daytona International Raceway. Um, and then when I wrapped that, I did something entirely new for me. I did a Bagger Nationals audio competition, which was just insane. And we'll get into that, but yeah, man, got there. Hotel set me up with a nice room. I actually right up over the beach, eighth floor, right up over the beach. Left the left the shades and the slider open, except for on the real cold nights, and dude, sunrise, woke up just before the sunrise every morning. So it was really cool. Got over there to Ocean Center. They were building the track. Brandon and his crew's building the track, and the AX team is getting things branded out. Um, Sadly, our great non-dirt from last year uh, had gone missing. Like 100 and I believe 124 truckloads.
Dirt is so expensive too.
Yeah, had gone missing from the storage area. So, they
Conspiracy.
yeah, they sourced some new dirt. Um, they were a little bit shy. They certainly could have used about 30 or 40 more truckloads, but the guys did a great job of doing the best they could with what they had, and it was still quite sandy, so it did not pack, and it did require a ton of maintenance. Um, and shout out to the Vision Built track crew. They were busy as crap all night, keeping up on it. Um, but yeah, what a great night. I mean, what a great place to wrap up the championship. The attendance was amazing. The arena is incredible. It's beautiful. It's an older arena, but it's absolutely beautiful. Um, Very well kept up. And, I mean, it's Daytona Beach, dude. Daytona Beach, Bike Week,
Good
beginning
vibes.
of Bike Week. So, yeah, uh, racing was really good. I think um, I want to say Bitterman was back after a broken collarbone like 2.5 weeks earlier in Reno, or 3 weeks earlier in Reno. He was back and on the bike and um, doing all right. Uh, Man, I want to say he ended up having to come through LCQ.
Yeah, he got third in LCQ, 15th in main one, and did not start main two.
Yeah, it was just too much pain. He just was having a rough time. Um, as he said after the race, he's like, "Man, Daytona is just not my friend."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, you come in, beat the shit, and expect to ride like a 20-year-old when you're a beat up 30-year-old, you know?" It, I mean, and the fact that, and I told him straight up, man, the fact that you finished fifth overall in the points with missing, in essence, 3 races due to injuries, it's a great job. I mean, that's a win, you
Oh,
know?
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. It was super, super cool moment for me was to see my buddy Mike Alessi um back, you know. Vance Freese had wrapped the championship up the previous round, round 11 in Reno, or Prescott Valley, I'm sorry. Um, and sat out Daytona with the rumor that he had been ill. So maybe he was just sick of, I don't know.
Travel.
But Mike Mike jumped in and rode for his dad, but it was really cool to see the 800 out there, and even cooler to see him take a main event win. Um, and being down there for the podium was just awesome. It was so cool, and he came off the track and he was pretty excited and everything, and they were getting ready to do the podium ceremony, and he came over and was smiling. I said, "Nice job, buddy. Welcome home." And he goes,
Nice.
"Man, I so bad want to come back next year. So you never know. We'll see."
Hopefully he does. Might as well.
Well, he's got great wife, great family, and I hung out with them for a bit. And on the final podium, he ended up third, I think, on the overall. And he had his oldest daughter up there holding the trophy up for him and stuff. And that was just really heartwarming. It's really, really cool family vibe to our arena cross. It was a great way to end the season. Um, and I honestly, I've been so busy, I completely forgot who won main two. Um, but I was standing right there too.
So Mike actually got second overall.
Second overall.
He had
Okay.
a. This is fun for us motocross guys. He got a first in main one and a second in main two, but Michael Hicks had a second and a first, and a two and a one beats a one and a two. So
That's
that is,
correct.
yep. So Ryan Brees sneaking into third position with a 5-3 score. And then honorary shout out to Anton Nordstrom from Gothenburg, which is in Sweden. So that's your top four.
Yeah. Who finished the second main? Who won the second main?
The second main was Michael Hicks.
Hicks. Yeah.
Yeah, so he got a two and a one to get the overall.
Which was a great, great statement for him on that new arena cross team, the Newell Racing All Balls team, that was formed mid just before mid season and signed Michael. Um, and he's a good kid, so it was,
Most importantly, yeah.
yeah. And you keep in mind, he rode more laps than anybody in the series because he raced the X Pro class.
Oh, I was wondering where you're going with this. Okay.
Yeah, he raced the X Pro class also. So he actually raced uh, at least two heat races and four main events every race.
Well, he's your ex-pro champion
And yeah, there you
at
go.
187 points. Beating
Stark,
Justin Bogle. Yep, and the Stark.
the Stark Varg AMA Arena Cross presented by Kicker X Pro champion
Well
Michael
done.
Hicks. Well done. Yeah. Whew. Didn't think I was going to get through that one. But yeah, no, dude, there was just so many cool moments there. And I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it was just rad, and um, it came down to, after they did the overall podium, then we did the championship top 5 presentation, and I am truly honored and grateful. Thank you, Kicker, for letting me be a representative and kind of be the face of Kicker for that series. And I was truly honored to present the trophy. And I'll say it again: I'm going to eat crow. I'm going to eat my words. Vince Freeze earned it. He had to be there. He had to win. He had to have the most points to win the championship, and he earned it. So, um, take that for whatever you want.
No matter he earned it. No matter what you say,
Yeah,
he's the
yeah.
champ. So
Yep. Absolutely. You know, it was really cool. They handed me the trophy before they started the interviews, and I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but that trophy was significantly sized.
that was big. That looked like an Ontario Hockey League championship trophy or something of
Yeah, it was
substance. It was
like
impressive.
Stanley Cup size, right?
Yeah,
And and it was heavy. And I
you made it
stood
look
there.
light, so well
Yeah,
done.
I stood there. It's a good thing I do my 8-minute high intensity workout every morning because, man, I stood there for what felt like half an hour. I'm sure it was like 3 or 4 minutes, and had to hold that thing 90-degree elbows without shaking or anything while
You
they
did
did
well.
the interviews and all that. And it was funny because I handed it off to Vince. I was like, "Congratulations, man. You earned it." Handed it off to him, and he was like, "Holy shit, this is heavy."
Oh, maybe for you, yeah, maybe for you it's heavy. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then they wanted him to raise it over his head, which he was getting there, but I was afraid he was going to drop it on one of us. So I offered to help out, and he let me. So there's a great picture of the two of us holding it up over his head. That was super cool. And then we went on to, of course, number two in the series championship, which I believe was Ryan Brees. Um,
Um,
and then I
yes, it
think,
was. Yep.
yeah, and then number three was Michael Hicks.
Man, what a close championship.
It really was. And number four was Austin Politelli.
Mhm. Mhm.
And number five was Kyle Bitterman. Um, and I've become close to a lot of these guys, so it was a real honor to hand them their trophy, their plaque, and ultimately their big check also. So it was really cool, and yeah, I just really super super blessed to be a part of it. Justin, Jetworks, and his team, and their on the ground coordinators, uh, Scott Tokes, what's up, buddy? Um, and Shannon. Just so grateful for all of them. They've become family this year also. So, really looking forward to next year. We've talked about a lot of stuff. I think I've had 3 or 4 phone meetings, yeah, about 3 phone meetings with
Wow.
Justin since series ended. So, and we talked about a lot of stuff, so super cool. But man, our boy Robbie, Superman Reeves from American Flat Track, I packed that crate up Friday night. Robbie met me over there at the Ocean Center with the trailer, and we forked the crate, the travel crate with all the booth activation stuff into that trailer and got it secured and rolled over to what I can only describe as Coolville, um, which would be the AMA Pro Racing headquarters, also like big headquarters for France Racing Group
Wow.
there in Daytona. Uh, Dude, there was still hundreds, maybe 100 of the trucks, support GMC trucks, support trucks that they use for the Daytona 500 sitting there. Um, just, just all kinds of stuff. There was a couple of limited edition Toyota trucks that they had used for the 500. There's a Toyota Gazoo Celica
Hmm.
there. And so, of course, I was sending pictures of that to Seth and asking if that was his next ride.
And do you have the
Um,
keys and
yeah, yeah, ask him if I could take it for a burn. Um, but it was super cool place, and you go inside, and the wall in there. There's one wall that is covered with um, the history of champions of American flat track since the inception
wow.
of all pictures. And I mean, there's just so much cool in there that, you just you're blown away by it, really. I mean, it's just I could in one little room, I could have walked around for an hour and looked at cool stuff.
That's amazing. Yeah, and y- not that it gets lost on those guys, but you hope that they walk in there and see that every day and remember what a big deal it is. Like what
Yeah.
a prestigious thing that's happening.
Well, and I'm sure some of the, it probably does just get to that point where it's like, this is my office, right?
Yeah.
But, a couple of things that I left out, I really want to get to about the um, arena cross. So, a couple of major things I left out was one, the first morning at the hotel, I met this nice couple from England who was there the entire time that I was basically for Bike Week, and they ride in England, and he rides moto in a Vet 50 plus class.
Okay.
And so we were just started a conversation at breakfast, and they invited me over to sit with them, and I found out the ride, and I got them into the arena cross races with VIP
No
passes, and
way.
also, yeah, and also got them into American Flat Track with the VIP treatment all the
Oh
way to the
my gosh.
hospitality, dinner, the trackside tent, the whole bit.
Dude, you
So,
might have made their vacation because they're going to be back in the pub trying to explain to their bros. They're like, yeah, we met this nice guy with a high and tight, and he just got us into everything.
yeah, it was really cool. We actually spent quite a bit of time together. We ended up I took them to I'm guessing their first real American diner.
Okay.
Uh there was a old school American diner right across the street from the hotel, and I was like, "Hey, you guys want to get breakfast tomorrow one of the days?" And they were like, "Yeah, that'd be great." So I took them over there, and had good old fashioned, you know, it was pretty crazy American portions, and
Where's
and
the beans and toast? And you're like, ew,
yeah,
no.
yeah, you know what? That was it. They were telling me, I had no idea. I'm dude, you just blew my mind. I had no idea they serve beans with breakfast in
And blood
England.
sausage. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what Nikki was telling me. So, Carl and Nikki,
Shout
um,
out.
shout out. I love you guys. We had a great time. Uh, when we get done recording tonight, um, I'm gonna go sit out on my patio and smoke one of those fine cigars you bought me, and I
Nice.
appreciate it greatly. Um, but we had a great time. It was just so cool, and they went to the 200. Um, and really lived it up. I think they had a great time. They're now home safe and sound, and we've been messaging each other
That's so
even
cool.
since they've been home. So I think we're lifetime friends, and hopefully someday we'll get to see them again. Um, while I'm talking about friends and great experiences, uh, of course, Super Mario.
Oh yeah, you saw him?
My dude, yeah. Well, I found out he was going to be down there for a Red Bull um, celebrity event,
Okay.
like celebrity rider event type of deal. And I was like, "Hey, you want to come to Arena Cross?" And he's like, "Oh, I'd love to." So I got him VIP tickets, and he came out. We had a great time. Mario, shout out, still slamming the Red Bulls. Um, so Yeah, trying to support Mario and my Red Bull team people out there, so
Family. Red Bull family.
Red Bull family, well put, yeah. So, man, it was crazy, like, I got wrapped up, so Arena Cross Day was like, I think I left the hotel at 7:45, found this great donut place local. It was about 20-minute drive from the hotel, and then about 18 minutes to the Ocean Center, but King's Donuts, Daytona, and dude, it was so good. Service was exceptional. Took great care of me. So awesome, and got over the arena, man, and it was race day, and boom, and by the time we did all the championship stuff and the pictures and the videos, and then I had to go back and pack the booth down and get it ready to travel. Um, I think I got back to the hotel at like 12:08 in the
Okay.
morning.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I had to meet Robbie back at the arena at 8:30, so,
Had to. You
um,
got to.
I
Got to
got
meet
to.
Rob.
Yeah, I love Robbie. Such a great dude. Uh, yeah, man, so we went over, and I spent quite a bit of time over there at, Daytona at AMA Pro Racing HQ, and then, uh, yeah, that was about Robbie and I went to lunch at this cool place called the Ford Diner, which was pretty cool and good food. Mediocre service. Sweet tea was so, but the food was
Okay.
good. And the
Too sweet or not sweet enough?
not sweet enough.
Oh,
And it
interesting.
was too cold. It should be kind of lukewarm with the ice melting into it, right? That's really the first sip you take of a big glass of sweet tea should be kind of warm.
All right. I'll take your word
It's
for it.
it's the right way to
I
do it.
have no opinion on the matter, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna believe you.
Well, you don't drink it because you don't wanna be diabetic. I just don't care.
No, I drink I like Coors Light. It's low sugar, low calorie. I
By the way, how cool is this
Assault
Assault mug?
Industries.
Yeah, Assault Industries, hook with the hookup, all the accessories you need.
Can't even buy that mug. I mean, if you need it,
Actually true.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, I got that done, and then, I had a couple of things I had to do Sunday, coordination-wise and stuff like that morning, and I went down to Main Street Sunday afternoon. I actually took the afternoon off. I
Wow.
worked Sunday morning, and Carl and Nikki said they were going to be down there in the afternoon and hook up with them if we could. So I hooked up, and we walked Main Street. It was busy,
How
busy,
cool.
busy, crazy. So much fun. So many bikes. Saw my most favorite bike ever. That original Kawasaki H2 750, three-cylinder, two-stroke in blue, just like the one I used to ride, the blue and blue.
The
Yeah,
memories that came back, huh?
dude, it was insane. Because when I rode that, I was completely illegal to be on the street, right? So, and I was riding all over Seattle.
Yeah, but you could totally register it in like Havasu, right?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I was underage at the time.
Well, yeah, whatever.
It
Bygones be
doesn't really
bygones.
count
I'm saying now
now.
there
Yeah,
could there could be a new pony in the stable.
if I could find one, I would add one for
Okay,
sure. Um,
listeners, got that
uh,
down.
yeah, keep your eyes
Keep your
open.
eyes
I
out.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, maybe good old Rob Mack will find one up in Canada and hit me up and say, "Hey, found a deal." So if you're listening,
And then we'll
Rob,
podcast from the road. That'd
yeah,
be fun.
ooh, we need to do a road trip together.
That'd be
How
fun.
fun would that be? Yeah,
Yeah, because we don't need to stop. We
no,
won't shut up.
right?
I
We
can
just,
drive at night, so
yeah, dude, that'd be rad. We need to do that
jot that
sometime
down.
for
Jot that
sure.
down. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Make a note. Let's do it in the grinder because
Yep.
I mean, evil can evil.
Yeah. Badass truck.
Duh,
Boom.
right?
Got it. All right.
So, okay, cool. Um, yeah, man. And then it was just like Sunday afternoon, Monday, I had meetings, stuff I had to do. Uh, Tuesday, stuff again, meetings, uh, dinner, and whatnot. Uh, Wednesday, I actually went out to the track Wednesday, um, just to scope out the situation. And no, Tuesday after my meetings, I went out to the track to scope out the situation, and then actually walked the, I don't know what they call it, the
The
Grand
midway, the
Midway. Yeah, I guess you'd call it the Midway, right out in front of Daytona Speedway, um, in the big parking lot out front. every bike manufacturer's there. Um, they're doing demo rides. I mean, even the non-bike manufacturers like Slingshot and Can-Am had their three-wheelers, their tricycles out. Um, V8 Bikes was there, Boss Hoss, uh, uh, man, everybody. And of course, got to spend a little time with my good friends from Motor Trike. By far the most superior three-wheel conversion out there. Dude, they're Jeff and his team have are brilliant. Like the way they build the setup, it's a complete module. So they have this module that they use for their three-wheelers, and they have it with either a drive shaft feed with a
Hmm.
differential or a belt feed with a differential, independent suspension, airbags, uh, coilovers, uh, inboard disc brakes, and it's not that heavy, and everything is in one unit,
What a
right?
trip. Okay.
Yeah, even the compressor for the airbags, the ride sensors, all that.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this. I'm gonna have to check out the website.
Yeah, yeah, check it out. It's just, dude, it they do an amazing job. It really is just crazy. Um, I like I don't even know if I can explain, but it's a module. It's like just all one unit, right?
It's just what
Um,
you want.
yeah, super
Now,
cool.
if I talk to Cam and I beg and plead, can we have a trike class in American Flat Track?
Oh, dude, you know how sick that would be?
I
That would
don't
be
care about the
so
danger.
rad.
I don't care about I just want to see good trike racing.
Well, there's several of the independent series that run flat track around the country. I sent you a picture,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
right?
So the first photo looks like a Formula One car with steel or square tubing.
Yeah,
The second photo looks like the craziest go-kart I've ever seen.
yeah. It's incredible. They're genius. I mean, and that's the entire unit.
Is that so? Was that a wheel slip sensor? That 6-pin deal coming out the back? I mean, this thing is either way, it's
I don't
intense.
know.
It's great. It's yeah, it's very, very impressive.
Very well thought out, impressive piece of equipment. Anyway, so I went over and saw some of my buddies over at CF Moto and checked out the new Ibex 450. And I might be a rider before too long. So
That'd be fantastic. It's good for your body, good for your mind, good for exploring, it's good for safety.
I've I've heard a lot of good about the 450 and seen them firsthand, especially the one in blue. Really, really grabbed me by the heartstrings. So
Can you imagine
uh,
having that thing to rip around your house? That would be
yeah, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Google CF Moto, all one word, USA, and check it out. Uh,
I don't
Kale
want to
and
get
his
anyone in trouble. It looks a lot like popular another touring bike. You know what I mean? Looks great. Looks good.
yeah,
And it's
um,
affordable.
yeah, and I did see. I think it's like retails like
Dude,
MSRP is like $6,400 or
it's
something.
cheaper than a 450 race bike.
Yeah, considerably. Um, but yeah, man, that was a great time just wandering around, seeing some old friends, and looking at some of the new stuff that's out. Um, was really cool. Honda had a beautiful display. CF Moto had a great display. Of course, Kawasaki, as expected, unbelievable display. Um, Harley, I just kind of, I looked, um, but and Indian, I looked at their race bikes they had out, like the baggers. Um, they do make some good looking street bikes, small street bikes, and so does Harley really. Um, and Harley has jumped into that adventure market, and I don't remember what they call that. Um, their adventure bike. Um, but it's I don't know who signed off in the front end design, but that thing is fugly.
Yeah, I remember the renderings weren't good.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, what in the world is that thing
It
called?
it has to hold the trophy. I
Oh,
mean,
the Pan America.
Pan America, yeah, it has to. It is the undisputed champion of the world of ugly for adventure bikes.
Listen, Harley, I know you wanted to sponsor this podcast, and we say no.
Yeah, yeah. Stop,
Not
fix,
even respectfully.
give it a nose job, and we'll talk.
Bring back cool stuff and then
Right?
slide into our DMs.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that was a good time, and then man, it was off Wednesday again out at the track, um, and intended to do some setup, but the wind was howling, so I jumped in with Brando, Robbie's kid, one of the operations guys, and actually helped string bike fence and put up signs.
Boots on the ground, man doing some work.
Yeah, just, I hate to not be busy, so got that done and helped them out, and then went back to the hotel, showered up, changed, and had our uh, we'll get together with Cam and uh, some of the other American Flat Track partners. Um, it was really cool. Got to see Mr. Lance from the city of Sturgis. He's their sponsorship and promotions manager, has been for 9 years, I believe. Um, and so it was really good to see him and visit with him. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but he he gave me this.
Oh, check that out. All right.
It's
Keep
like a
that on the
very
desk.
very limited
Wow.
edition Sturgis.
The ride, the roar, the rally. Wow.
Yeah, very limited edition Sturgis coin, I guess you'd call it, or medallion. Um,
Medallion, challenge coin, something, something.
yeah, challenge coin, I guess. I was super cool, really nice of him. It was good catching up with him and a few of the other people, said hi to Jared Mees and shook his hand. Yeah.
The flat goat.
And there's a 9 time for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and so, it was we just had a good time, man. We
Good.
we hung out at this at the Daytona Hotel. Uh and they have a really nice bar and restaurant up there on the second floor, and we hung out there. Blue Flame, it's called. Uh, Bunch of super cool racing machines in there, and so yeah, that was really neat. Had a great night. Packed her up, and Thursday was race day, and got out to the track nice and early because I figured, well, we're going to try and set up, and hopefully the wind will let up, and the wind did not let up. Um, and it was blowing like 25 with gusts to 35. It was a beautiful day, but it was just windy, and I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to do any kind of setup. And once again, Robbie Superman Reeves, man, he saved the day by letting me use the what was going to be the autograph tent for their grand marshal, which happened to be strapped, weighted extremely well and strapped to a fence. It's a 10 by 10. I usually do a 10 by 20, but I did a micro setup. So I was really, really happy that he let me use that. And, man, we just had a great night. Attendance was good that night for a
Good.
Thursday. And, the racing surface, I guess they put new dirt down. They call it moon dirt. A lot of the riders call it moon dirt because it's almost white. It's really interesting surface. Um, but I guess they put all new surface down like 2 weeks earlier,
Hmm.
and they hadn't really been working any water into it or anything. Um, and so the guys were working their butts off to get the track right and get it good. Um, and the it was very unpredictable Thursday night. It started developing a hole
Oh no.
in, yeah, just basically at the acceleration point in turn 4, when you're starting to get back on the throttle hard. Um, and about midway down the front stretch, it actually rutted up in a few places and developed a hump or a hole. So they worked their butts off, and that kept coming back all night. And there are several spots that they really struggled with, uh, but you know, it made for great racing. I mean,
Yeah, normally with flat tracks and holes and all that stuff is bad news. But if the racing is good, yeah, how can you argue?
yeah, and the way it ended up, you know, there's all those haters out there that say, "Oh, there's no race Harley, there's no race Indian." You know what? We're back to the way it should have been. Um, and if those guys would have built the bikes into production bikes like they said, they would still be out there. So it's on them as far as I'm concerned. Um, and so we ended up with a Yamaha, a KTM, and a Kawasaki on the podium.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, it was superb racing. It was exciting. That was on the twins podium, of course. Uh, and the singles presented by Kicker Class, the racing was superior. Cody Kopp, actually, who has gone allegedly left the series and will be racing for Kenny Roberts racing flat track racing, fast track racing. My good friend Arnie and Kenny Roberts have partnered for the feeder series for Moto America. Um, and Cody Kopp will be their rider, road racing. But he broke out a KTM one more time for Daytona 1-2 and had no problem showing them what the number one plate was about.
There you go. I like it.
He actually, I don't remember if it was Thursday or Friday, but he got buried in the start, way back in the field. Um, Maybe even went down and rode his way all the way back up to first.
The legend.
Yeah. Yeah, and Friday night, I can't remember the guy's name, um, riding a Kawasaki, but he led the first half of the first main. And I think he probably ended up just burning up his rear tire, but it was super good to see Kawasaki out there competitive. We expected the Yamaha to be competitive, but the KTM was very, very competitive in the twins class. Um, Shows a lot of promise for a lot of good racing, you
It,
know?
it's so funny to read the top results: Yamaha, Harley, KTM, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Royal Enfield. I mean,
Yeah.
interesting time, different times, challenging times, but very interesting times with these manufacturers being in the premier class.
Yeah, and the Harley, is, I believe one of them. I think the XG is a race only and the XR is a production unit.
Interesting. Okay.
It should say at some point whether he's riding like a XR 750 or XG, but anyway, whatever it was, it's the one that everybody said couldn't be competitive.
And there it is
Yeah.
on the
Well, and
podium.
dude, to that point, Slam and Sammy Halbert last year in 2024 went out and kicked their butts
On like a
with
70-year-old motorcycle.
yeah, well, 15 or 16-year-old,
Yep.
but had been in storage for 15 years, 17-year-old bike Harley that had been in storage for
So
15
epic.
years
So good.
and came out and handed them their ass for most of the race. And so, they can be competitive if you want to put the energy into them to make them work, right? So it's like so much, back Rob Muzzy used to tell me in road racing, like when he started with the ZX7 program, it was a bike that wasn't really capable of a top 10. But through working with it and a combination of brilliance and perfect parts,
Best parts. Yep.
yep, it would, all of a sudden they were the king of the world for years,
Came alive.
literally. You know, they ruled every country in the world. So, um, and that was, huge kudos to Rob because he made it happen. But, it was really cool. Speaking of Kawasaki, I ran into John Rawl, who is officially retired. Um, and we did talk about the new uh, Kawasaki side by side that will be released soon. Yes, folks, it will be supercharged. If you have been living on the moon or in another genre for or dimension for 2.5 weeks, when spy photos started popping out, which I think they brilliantly leaked intentionally. Um, and that car actually ran in a UTV open class, I believe, at Mint 400 and did finish top 15, which, brand new car, brand new power plant says something. It's what you expect out of Kawasaki. But yeah, there's, that H2, the current H2 and H2R, H2RR, whatever you want to call it, that motor in stock trim is three capable of 310 horsepower. So
Nuts. Yeah, and that's on the safe mode.
yeah, so let's see what the side by side comes out with. But I would be surprised if it was less than 265. So pretty impressive unit and a proven unit. I can tell you for a fact, I know they've been testing it for a long time. Um, let's just say that. So, and good on them. It's cool to see them jump into that market. I've got a soft spot in my heart, in my head for Team Green. So, um, I'm excited. But moving on, Friday night. Oh yeah, coolest thing. Um, got the kids over at American Flat Track.
Check that out. There you go.
Yeah, that got me into the VIP uh viewer area and and Mr. Jojo from Giuseppe's great food both nights. So super happy for that. Thank you, Tiffany and gang. Looking after me. Had such a great time. And dude, the American flat track stuff was just sick. I mean, it was great racing. They worked their butts off on the track all day Thursday. Worked their butts on off on the track all day Friday. I was able to do a full setup Friday. Weather was gorgeous. Um, and the track stayed really consistent,
Good.
but it was really wet. So,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, Thursday the riders are complaining about the track coming apart and holes and this and that. Friday they're complaining because they're having to use tear-offs.
Whatever. It's good for everybody.
But it was really wet. I mean, when they started, it was really wet. Like, they look like they've been
At
in a mud,
war.
yeah, in a mud race for sure. But it was great racing. I mean, just what an amazing way to start the season. It was so good. And man, we wrapped that down. I said my goodbyes to everybody, packed the crate up, went and said goodnight to everybody, and see you soon. And and headed out uh, because I had to get over to Bagger Nationals at I had to be there at 8:30 the next morning to get set up, uh, which was really cool. Hard Rock Hotel, Daytona Beach, um, something I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anything. I've never done this. Uh, I showed up, man. It was it was rad. Donnie, that was promoter, handled everything. Was just did a great job. They have lanes, what they call drag lanes, outside, and it is a SQL or sound quality level
Okay.
competition. They have all these classes, flyweight, lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight, and extreme weight for the bikes, and they're all based on how many speakers they have. Like, but there's bikes there in the extreme class. Most of the bikes, part of the bikes in the middleweight, most of the bikes in the heavyweight, and all the bikes in the extreme class were not riders. You couldn't ride them.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
they're
They're
insane.
just
Yeah.
purpose built.
Yeah, exactly. And there was one there that had 44 or 48,000 watts and easily, man, had to be easily 20 speakers. Totally non-rideable, size of an Austin Mini. Um, yeah, massive, massive machine. But there was literally millions and millions of dollars of custom motorcycles with audio from all different levels, from these bikes that people ride every day to bikes people ride most of the time, and they're all competing uh, through a panel of judges for sound quality, best sound quality. Super cool, um, just insane. And I've never seen so many big wheel bikes in one place, and some of them were just like so extreme. I can't even describe it. Just insanity. Uh, there was one there that had a spider web machine front wheel. Had to be a 30-inch front wheel.
Jeez.
Um, dude, yeah, and it was machined all the way, spider web machined all the way down onto the rim out to the bead.
Not my world, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, it had to be a $10,000 wheel, $15,000 wheel, just the
Crazy.
wheel. Yeah, and it was a neat event. So they had their heavyweight, I think middleweight, heavyweight, and extreme were out on the patio on the ocean side, which was super cool. The vendor area was in the area in the middle, which would have been like it's just a big room, right? Like a conference type room. Um, it's really cool. And then outside the lobby, go out outside the lobby, they had the competition lanes, the drag lanes for the other classes, because those classes obviously are much, much fuller, many more bikes, flyweight, lightweight, or generally daily riders. And there had to be 12 to 18 bikes in each class.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah. So, and they hustled their way through all the, did a great job of getting through it, and um, then they'd go down to the final four in each class, and they moved the final four of each class out to the patio, to the drag lanes in the patio, and they get rid of the drag lanes, and it's just like it literally has this coliseum feel to it because it's this circle. There's two bikes in there. They have a minute and a half to prove how good their sound is to a panel of judges. Um, and it's really cool. And then the champion gets like a belt, like a boxing
That was
belt,
cool.
champion belt,
Yeah.
or the
Wrestling belt.
wrestling belt. Yeah, yeah. So, and Kicker sponsored the middleweight class, and I was able to be out there. Winner of the middleweight class got a belt and $2,500 cash. So they handed me, for whatever reason, obviously they didn't know me that well. They handed me $2,500 cash, um, which I did end up giving to the winner, um, without taking a commission. I should have, but um, and the belt was just rad. So I was able to be out there for the final four of that, present that, and it was cool. It was rad. Great attendance, so much fun, um, and man, what a week! I mean, just there was so many bikes in the hotel parking lot every morning, and um, if you got back to the hotel after 6 o'clock at night, you couldn't park.
Wow. I mean, nice to see that Bike Week is doing so well. But if you were late, that sucks.
Yeah, well, they had a alternate parking lot across the street, the A1A, Atlantic Avenue, which runs right up Daytona Beach there, Daytona Shores, and all that. I don't know where all it goes, but um, yeah, man, it was it was crazy, just unbelievable. And the week went by, well, a week and a half went by so fast, almost 2 weeks, and just being busy and doing stuff, and keeping busy. And it was just, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm like at a loss. It's so hard to explain how cool the Bagger Nationals were, how great it was, what a great experience. I hope I get to do another one. Um, it was just crazy. I mean, just nuts.
Well, welcome home, and I'm glad to see Bike Week's doing so well.
Yeah, thank you. It was a good time, and of course, you know, it's Daytona, and there was all kinds of craziness on Main Street when I went down there, and um, there was all kinds of craziness pretty much everywhere you went. It was really cool, but you know, it was great to see. I was very bummed to know that it was the end of the season for the AMA Arena Cross Championships presented by Kicker, and it was tough to say goodbye to Shannon and Tokes and the rest of the crew, Sean, Andrea, and the crew. Um, they really have become family, and we, they've been my road. They've been my roadies for you know 18 weeks, so
Right.
16 weeks. So, but the saving grace was I went straight from that to my American flat track family. Um, Sidebar on that, little change in the broadcast booth. Scotty Dubler and someone else, Ralph Shaheen, did not return this year. Um, but Kristen Beat, the one and only Emmy Award winning Kristen Beat, was there. And it was so good to see her. And, of course, Scotty, Cameron, Robbie, Bobby. I mean, the whole crew, whole American flat track crew, Reverend Rizzo, Chaplain Rizzo, uh, that did our Christmas special with us. And it was really good to see him. And man, I would stick a fork in it and say it was a great week. Um, Here it is. I got home Sunday night, and here I am Wednesday, still playing catch up on reports and stuff, but I'm not hating it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like just so stoked. And um, yeah, man, we need to wrap up. We're on time. Ooh, yeah,
I'm here for it. I'm hydrated. I'm ready.
aren't we? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. My computer is on way different time.
We're about an hour and a half in. So if you've listened
Oh
this
yeah,
far,
it's
thank you.
time. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Well, let's wrap it up. Let's stick a fork in it. We got some good stuff coming up in the next episodes. Man, we're sure grateful for our incredible partners and sponsors, Kick Performance Audio, for all your premium 12-volt needs, whether it's boat, truck, car, motorcycle, whatever you need. Find them online, kicker.com, on Instagram at Kicker Audio, on Facebook, Kicker, every other Tuesday night live on their TV show, Kicker Unmasked Live, YouTube, or Facebook. Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Badass Eyewear. Find them online, bombereyewear.com, on Instagram at Bomber Eyewear. Be sure and go and check out their over 40 styles of frames and hundreds of thousands of combinations of lens options. Check them all out. When you hit purchase, get to your cart, be sure and enter MAddOG20, MAddOG20. Get yourself a little discount and let them know the Mad Dog sent you. We appreciate it. Of course, Assault UTV, Assault ATV, Assault Snow, Assault Industries. Find them online, assaultind.com. That's assaultind.com. On Instagram at assaultutv for all your premium off-road accessory needs. The Premix Podcast, Cole sharing his love for all things desert racing, and also MC and announcer extraordinaire. Slide into his DMs at the Premix Podcast on Instagram. That's the @ symbol, ThePremixPodcast. For Shutter and Whirl, you can find her on Instagram. Her website's really long, so go to her Instagram at Shutter and Whirl. Click on the bio, click on the website, see all their services from still photography, pre-production to post-production. And thanks for taking care of all of my audio mess ups. Shutter and Whirl got you covered. Hey Geeks Marketing has us covered for our website, MAddOG'sGarage.com, and all of our social media templates, our business card designs, logo work, anything that you need, she'll have you covered from website building to social media campaigns. Need some help? Yell, Hey Geeks, or find her online, heygeeks.com, or on Instagram at Hey Geeks Marketing. Man, Cole, thanks for sticking around. It's so good
Thank
to see
you.
you. I
Welcome home.
missed you.
Missed you
Yeah,
more.
thank you. Yeah. What do you got?
Make sure to rate, review, subscribe on your favorite streaming platform. I got one race coming up next month that I will be able to announce soon. And I'm going to put you on the spot. Come up with a title for this episode in 3, 2, 1, go.
Wow, Daytona Mayhem.
Wow, Daytona Mayhem. There it is. That's all I
Mayhem
got.
in Daytona.
Nope. Wow, Daytona Mayhem was it.
I love it. Cool. Great job. Man, so much fun. Thank you again to all of our U.S. military service personnel all around the world, our veterans and the families of those MIA and KIA, and of course, our first responders. We are so grateful for y'all. Cole, do the speech once more.
Make sure to rate, review, subscribe on your favorite streaming platform.
Smash that like button, leave us a comment. And the guy that left a comment on one of our podcast videos on YouTube, Mad Dog's After Show on YouTube, I got something for you. Boop. Yeah. So, but no, seriously, thanks for commenting. Even the negative stuff, I don't care. I'll just delete
The
it.
algorithm.
But it did make me laugh for a minute. With that, man, God bless our troops. God bless our first responders. God bless our veterans. God bless you, our fans. God bless America. Mad Dog out.